Howdy, this is Categorizing back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today, coming a little bit earlier than I normally do for a new arena. Just given the circumstances, I had the opportunity to do an earlier video, so I know a lot of the followers, the folks that have subscribed to my channel, love to see earlier videos. So when I get an opportunity to release the cutoff videos earlier, I take it, which today fortunately was one of those cases, but I can't guarantee. More often than not, as a matter of fact, it's usually later in the evening before I get an opportunity to put these videos together. Love to use the up-to-date, the latest and greatest graphics, etc. from the game, etc. In this case, I'm kind of predicting that they're going to reuse what they used before, since they're bringing back Sabretooth and Korg in these arenas. So they may not exactly match, but we'll know shortly as the arenas will start here soon. But anyway, took this opportunity to get it out early. So as you know, especially for those, I should say, if you follow and a subscriber to my channel, that the first thing I always like to do is bucket the champs in arenas to past arenas, as that allows me then to jump into the trend analysis. So with the feature Sabretooth arena, I think obviously there's either old or new feature arenas, and he's an old champ. He's been in the game for some time, so obviously he'll fall into that old bucket. There is some variation within old, because you have an old champ like Sabretooth compared to an old champ like Drax, and the results could vary a little bit, but surprisingly they don't. But anyway, with Korg and the 4-star basic arena, that's where it gets more interesting. You have low, medium, and high interest, and I think Korg is going to fall in that high interest, but there's some variation there too, and we'll take a look at some of those past results to kind of see that variation. So now that I've got these categorized, let's take a look at some of those past results, starting first with the 4-star basic high interest. And you can see kind of on the higher end, that Blade Domino area, that's 4 million plus. And as you can see, even with some great champs like Corvus Glaive, Captain America Infinity War, and even Ghost, those great champs, ton of usability in the game, some of the better champs more recently to be added to the game, they don't make 4 million. There's only been a handful of champs, pretty much as Blade and Domino have been the few here in the last 6-7 months, whatever, to make it to that 4 million plus kind of range. Everybody else in the high interest is in that 3 million. And so when it comes to 3-star old feature champs, you can see it's really much just the cutoff is really above that last milestone, which is at 640. So anywhere 650, 670, kind of in that range. When it gets into the 4-star feature arena, that's where it gets a little bit more interesting. There, as you can see, with a handful, going back to Carnage, you can see that was right around that 5 million, 5 to 5.5 million. But then you had that outlier with Dr. Octopus, still a decent champ for, but whatever, he didn't make 5 million. But then even with Mephisto, we hopped right back in. Mephisto, who was not too long ago, jumped right back into that 5.5 million range. And with 5-star feature, same thing. Kind of there was some consistency right around 29, 30 million. But then with Dr. Octopus, just was one of those odd times. Maybe there was a clean out of bots, and then the bots returned when Mephisto came back around. Whatever the case may be, Dr. Octopus was kind of that outlier, whereas the norm for champs, old champs in the game, but still not like super old champs, relatively within the last year or two been added, they get closer to 30 million. On average, like I said, Dr. Octopus is that oddity. So these are the trends for similar champs that are now to compare to the new arena of Sabretooth and Korg. What I always like to do, though, is beyond just looking at the numbers, get the input from the community to get a sense of what the community is feeling. And I think the interesting arena this time around is going to be Korg's. So I asked the community, hey, what do you all think the first round cutoff will be for Korg? And you can see most of the community thinks he'll fall in that 3 to 4 million. As a matter of fact, 72% of the folks that voted, and thank you very much for the time, for those who did take the time to vote. I've got over 500 votes, and that's kind of like the target I like to get a good sample size. Anything lower than that, given the MCOC community is quite large, anything lower than that may not be a good indicator. I mean, again, this is a sample, so it may not be a good indicator anyway, but for the most part, the community gets us in the right area. And I think here the community is speaking fairly loud. 72% think it's definitely going to be high interest, first of all, but in that 3 to 4 million range, not that 4 million plus. And more, 42%, the biggest, think it's going to be that 3 to 3.5 million range. When I looked at some of the comments, Ivan Rodriguez, I think, kind of captures that general feeling Korg is arguably the best defender in the game, at very least one of the best defenders in the game. On offense, he's solid and has some utility, but not groundbreaking in terms of damage output. I don't see him going for more than 3.2 million at best, with a minimum of maybe 2.6. Definitely a higher mid-tier champ versus low high tier. So, Ivan, I like the way you speak, especially there at the end regarding that high mid-tier champ. A person like myself, it sounds. But anyway, I think, looking at some of the other comments, some of the other folks put in there, they're very similar to Ivan's. There were a couple of outliers, specifically Peter Nicholas. If Blade goes 5 million plus, Korg should be at least 4 million. I can't speak for the community, but I'm hyped and plan on getting him twice. Well, the good news, Peter, if you go to 4 million, I guarantee you're going to get him twice. I think at the cut of that's safety zone plus. So go for it if you can easily get to 4 million, Peter, and you're going to guarantee yourself 2 Korgs. But if you're trying to kind of manage your time and trying to get closer to the cutoff, 4 million is going to be a bit of overkill, I think. But anyway, taking this input plus looking at the numbers, here are my thoughts for the round 1 cutoffs for the new Sabretooth and Korg Arena. Starting first with the 5-star, I think 30 million. I think it's going to be on the higher end of that average, 28, 29, 30 million. I'll probably be right around there, 30, 31 million, but we'll say 30 million for the cutoff. Again, with these predictions within the cutoff, I try to get within 5 to 10%. With the 4-star Sabretooth, I think 5.6 million are going to be the cutoff. With Korg, I think we're going to see right around that 3.4 million range, something similar to Ghost. And then with Sabretooth 3-star, again, just goes 650, 660. I think that's where the cutoff is going to be for that. It's just a little bit above that last milestone. And these, again, I think are the cutoffs for the veterans bracket, meaning your account's been open for over 60 days. And I try to get within 5 to 10%. So I always like to give kind of a grind target. If you've got the time, you've got the roster to get a little bit higher, this should get you in the safety zone. 32 million should be more than enough. 33 million maybe for the 5-star feature Sabretooth. 6 million, 6.1 million, something around there should be the safety zone for the 4-star basic Sabretooth. 3.7, 3.8 I think will work for Korg. And then 700,000 for the 3-star feature Sabretooth. So these grind targets are for the veterans bracket. When it comes to the earlier brackets, beginning and intermediate, again, if you're new to my arena cutoff videos, I just don't have a ton of data out there. There's not a place in the community that easily gets this data compared to the standard veterans bracket results, because that's where a majority of the community is at. People share the results there on a regular basis. It's not like BAM is giving us these numbers to base this off of. So these are just some really rough numbers based off of some anecdotal information I get from the community from time to time. A lot of volatility, a lot of people moving around in these brackets, etc. So kind of keep that in mind. These are just some rough ranges to consider. For the beginners bracket, meaning you got a new account up to 30 days, 3-star features around 245,000. For the 4-star basic, you're looking around 1.2 million. For the 4-star feature, looking around 1 million. For the intermediate bracket, for the 3-star feature Sabretooth, you're looking at about 550,000. For the 4-star basic Korg, around 1.3 million. And lastly, for the 4-star feature Sabretooth, you're looking right around 1 million as well. So anyway, these are my thoughts for the new Sabretooth and Korg arenas. If you have any questions or difference of opinion, would love to hear about them. Throw them on down in the comment section and we can discuss them there. Other than that, if you like this video, we'd really appreciate it if you click that thumbs up button. If you like this and other videos I have on the channel, we'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. Thanks a lot for stopping by and have a great day.